forward to engaging and interacting with you on our various platforms,
which are on Faraja TV Kenya at Facebook, Faraja TV Media at YouTube, and our SMS line 0703 339959, and our various competitions and events of the sporting sphere.
Remember to catch us live each and every Saturday afternoon from 4 to 5 p.m. whereby I'll be joined by 3 great co-hosts,
your boy Big Man Kyuga,
and of course, Mickey Omchambulis.
And Lefty Jizitisa Mgongoni.
One final lung-busting stride for Kipchoge.
So don't miss out on
Sport Buzz.
Duka letu linang'aa sana, huduma bora kwetu daima. Sambaza upendo kwa wateja, tuna kila kitu kwa bei rahisi. Mabango kibao yanang'asia, maduka yetu yana hadhi ya hali ya juu. Wateja wanacheka huku wanunua. Jamaa Supermarket, mimi na wewe tuko sawa. Duka letu ni bora kila siku, tuna bidhaa nyingi za hakika. Jamaa Supermarket huwezi kosa, huduma zetu ni za kufana. Duka letu ni bora kila siku, tuna bidhaa nyingi za uhakika. Jamaa Supermarket huwezi kosa, huduma zetu ni za kufana. Kwa familia tunatoa bora na bidhaa zote ni za kisasa. Ukiwa na mahitaji tutakupa, duka letu halina mfano, na kukaribisha upate usaidizi. Habari njema zetu zinasikika mbali, kila kona tunakuwepo. Yeah, duka letu ni la dhamana. Duka letu ni bora kila siku, tuna bidhaa nyingi za hakika. Jamaa Supermarket huwezi kosa, huduma zetu ni za kufana. Duka letu ni bora kila siku, tuna bidhaa nyingi za hakika. Jamaa Supermarket huwezi kosa, huduma zetu ni za kufana.
Welcome back, our dear viewers. This is still Morning Updates, and my name is Vicky Kipto. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. You can continue interacting with us. Tell us what you think about the show this morning, particularly about a demonstration that was witnessed across almost all counties here in Kenya, the aftermath of demonstration. Yeah, so 11 people died yesterday, dozens were injured, and they're in hospitals fighting their lives. So you can share your thoughts about that. And you can do that through our social media handles, and that is Facebook, Faraja TV Kenya, YouTube, Faraja TV Media, TikTok, faraja.tv.media, Instagram, Faraja_TV_Kenya, And our SMS number is on your screen, and that is 0703339959. Remember to include your name and where you're watching us from. We want to hear from you. We value your feedback here at Faraja TV. Yeah, and earlier on, I promised you that we are going to have guests, and we'll be talking about church and politics, the relationship between church and politics. Yeah, and we have Alvin. He's Alvin Joroge. He's Nakuru future leader, and we also have David Krag, who is a church minister. Karibuni sana. Welcome to Faraja TV, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we are going to be talking about church and politics, the relationship between church and politics. And I'm going to begin with David. So who kindly define to us what is good governance?
Good governance. So I think it has a lot to do with transparency, integrity. Good governance, obviously, it's got to be competent. You don't want people in offices where they're not experienced or qualified to take that position. So if we talk about good governance as in good government, one of my major concerns in the world at the moment with government is this sort of Marxist approach. And the spirit of Marxism is really saying that, well, religion's a bad thing, and the more we can dampen down and reduce the influence of religion, the better the world will be. But of course, the history of Marxism and communism is terrible. I mean, their track record is worse than the Nazis in terms of how many people they've oppressed and murdered. But it's this spirit of we don't want religion, we want to be God, right? So there is no God in heaven, government is God, everyone should look to the government. And the problem with that then is you have a government that is then overreaching the boundaries that God gave the government. So it's there to have an army to protect the nations, the people feel safe. There's some basic things that you can see in the Bible and through history. Good governments provide for the people so that it's, the country is safe and so on. But that Marxist spirit just wants to grow and grow and grow and grow and encroach on people's lives. It wants to define morality. It wants to tell you where you can go, when you can do things, and basically your freedoms just get reduced and reduced and reduced.
Wow, that's amazing. And I introduced you as a church minister.
Yes.
But you can also tell us what you want us to know about you, where you come from.
Okay, so I'm British. I live in Germany with my family. We've been there about 10 years, I think. So I have 5 children. I'm married to 1 wife, as every good minister should be. So I work a normal job, and then I have ministry is on the side when I get the time.
Yeah, so you don't do full ministry?
No. So I have a job to support my family, and then the ministry is additional too. Yeah.
Wow. And Alvin?
So I'm Alvin, Nakuru future leader, aspiring to be the Senator of Nakuru County. If God give us clear path. I'm newly married.
Yeah,
to
congratulations.
one beautiful lady called Joy, to whom she was called Lydia Joy Krag, but now it's Lydia Joy Joroge.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's my father-in-law.
That's amazing.
And I'm happy to marry a lady who has been raised with godly principles.
Wow.
And that's why we need to lead as an example, show people that what ways we need to follow into God.
Yeah, and the young people should not
And the
fear
young
to
people,
get into marriage.
Marriage is not scam. Marriage is real. And we need our young people to change their perspective about marriage. It's not a must you spend a lot of money on marriage. Just simple coins, you do a good wedding.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And thank you for that. I felt that I didn't give you enough time to introduce yourself and also telling our viewers what we need to know about you. And you, Calvin, you said you want to venture into politics. So what makes you, what motivates you? Why do you want to get into politics?
You find we have leadership. It's something given by God. And I find my leadership originates from my father at some point, because my father was in politics during the KANU era of the second president of the Republic of Kenya. And many people in the stage knows my father as Bonga Fit, because I used to tell people, let us speak well to make things right. That's why I was given the name Bonga Fit. And you find I'm actively involved in politics. I was involved in politics through the first MCA called Francis Njoroge Njogu, whom at that time I was like 12, but we were being given sweets. We walk around London Ward saying Josh Tosha. Josh is somebody whom we want him to be in governance. We came again, we had a guy called Honorable, the late Sami. You remember we had a theme, Sami Jandani. Jandani means like Sami must be in power. Then Sami died. Then the time Sami died, that's where I wanted to become the MCA of London Ward. And the father who raised me in children's home, I went and talked to him. And do you know the current president had his party called the United Democratic Alliance, the UDA. And I wanted to be part of the party. We started having some talks with some people. Then the father who raised me is called Sami Nawali from children's home. Told me like, this is not your time. Cool down and let's think ahead. Let us not rush things. So I stopped down, supported a guy called Nzuki, whom Nzuki won under UDA, and Nzuki got a job in the county government to be in the board of county, which we thank God for that. Then after there, Honorable Gatuso, who is the current leader, we used to go with him, being given advice with old people on how to do governance. And you find personally, I like staying with people who are older than me.
Yeah, so that they can mentor you.
So that they can mentor me. And the way I started knowing that I have the leadership skills is when I was in high school, Drainage High School. There's a teacher who, like, I don't know to say prophesied about it or God spoke to him about it. Called Mr. James, who is in our school called Drainage High School, who there's a time we were seated in Christian Union and he said, inside here, we'll have the president of the school. And without knowing, I found myself being the president of the school. And during that year is the year that I gave my life fully to Christ. And since then, the managerial skills I got from the school, the governance I got from the school, how to make things right, how to make some budgets. And I think that's the reason why in college I'm studying business management, so that I can have a clear picture about how to run things. That's why I need the senatorial seat.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And to you, David, especially now, many young people want to venture into leadership. And I have a feeling that they don't know what leadership entails. So kindly, can you shed light on who is a good leader?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's define leadership first. So I think one of the guys that I follow, he defines leadership as influence. And so if you've got people following you, you're a leader because you're leading someone. Even if it's just your family that you're leading as a father. So we see good leadership on every level. So if you see a family that is a home that's well run, and a family that is, you know, you see that they're respectful, that they're loving, they're functioning well, then I'm going to say there's a good leader in that home. So yeah, so leadership, with that influence obviously comes responsibility. So the more height the Lord gives you in terms of promotion, the more visibility you have, the more people are looking to you, then the more responsibility you have to be a good leader, because you can very easily, of course, lead people in the wrong direction. If you only have a small influence, you're not going to lead so many people in the wrong direction. And I think, for me, what makes a good leader, apart from the leadership skills, of course, is the congruence, so that you're not a hypocrite, right? That your example and your private life matches up with your public life, and it's not that you're presenting something that you're not. It's not about showmanship. I mean, I've, you know, seen quite a lot of that in Kenya so far. Sad to say, in the churches as well. So in the absence of, you know, the anointing on a leader, they're making up for it in the flesh by showmanship and trying to influence people through, you know, being very dramatic and everything else like that. And I think, fine to be dramatic if that's coming from your heart and it's the Spirit of God is moving through you. But if there's no Spirit moving and you're just making a lot of noise, that's not being a good leader. So I think sincerity, you know, is probably the I would say one of the great missing ingredients in leaders.
Yeah, and Romans chapter 13 verse 1 to 7 speaks about respect, honor, and that you should respect those people that have been anointed by God, and also those people in authority. And how do we know that this particular leader has been anointed by God, and therefore we should respect them?
I mean, I think that we also respect the office that they're standing in, even if they're not a very respectable person. We need to show some level of respect, because government is, the Bible says, it's something that's given by God, and it's there to keep things running well, you know, so that there's not chaos in this world. So I think to some extent we need to respect the office. But yeah, I mean, the example here would be David and Saul in the Bible. Right? So Saul was anointed. He did a good job for a short period of time. And then the Lord said, okay, you were not obedient. Now I'm going to give the throne to someone else. I'm going to give it to David. David would not dishonor Saul. You know, he would continually respect him, even though Saul was constantly trying to kill him. So he was not an honorable man, but David honored the position. So.
And are all leaders anointed by God?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No.
Yeah. And again, what is respect? Because I feel like at some point we misuse the term respect.
Right.
So should we just follow anything or everything a leader says?
All right. I like what you're saying there. So yeah. So to respect is not to you know, speak ill of someone, but you can critique their leadership. Absolutely. Yeah.
But in a respectful way.
In a respectful way, absolutely. And something I see that's off as well is sometimes you'll have people being honoured, you know, out of a sense of duty. Let's bring this person up. Let's give them a microphone and let's honour them. Even though they've not done anything honourable. In fact, some of them have done very dishonourable things. And it's, again, this is what I'm talking about, is it's showmanship. It's a performance. It's not sincere. It's not real. It's fake. And it's coming from a sense of duty. And that's something that we need to get out of the habit of doing. Don't honour someone who's dishonourable. You respect them as best as you can. But to honour is to recognise the contribution that they've made, and to help other people recognise that contribution as well. I was over at the high school, Greenwich High School on Sunday, and there are, you know, 3 men in the leadership team there that I really admire and appreciate. And I said to the students, guys, you know, these 3 men are absolutely top quality, and you should be absolutely grateful for them, and I know that they are. But that's appropriate honour, because what you're recognising is that these guys are laying down their lives. They're, you know, pushing themselves so hard to give the children hope, to give them a future, and they're making huge personal sacrifices. These are the people that we want to honour.
Yes, and to Alvin, do you think that young people are respectful? Because in the recent months, we've been accused of being disrespectful, especially to the president. We've been calling President William Ruto memes. And other leaders, do you think we are disrespectful, or this generation, the Gen Z generation, are disrespectful?
First of all, we need to ask ourselves, the thing that is happening to the current president, was it happening to the former president, or the second president of the Republic of Kenya, or the third president? Then another thing, people should not say that the Gen Zs are disrespectful, by the way. They are not disrespectful. I want you to remember, I was in the front line campaigning for the governor of Nakuru County, Her Excellency Governor Susan Kihika, and he's a political advisor, Francis Njoroge Njogu. Then I remember we went to a place called Spotlight, and the president was there, the Honorable Alfred Mutua was there, the former Deputy President Honorable Rigathi Gachagua was there, the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi was there. Then we signed an Nakuru Economic Charter. It is there. If you search it right now, you'll see the Nakuru Economic Charter. The first thing the president promised is employment to the youths. We don't see any employment to the youth. I've done business management. The president is doing some housing projects. I cannot fight against the housing project. It's a good idea that is taking place, but let's see, I did business management. I don't work in a construction site. I can't work in a construction site. There are people who have done construction as a subject. There are the people who should work there. Imagine there's a boy who works the president straight away. I'm a lawyer. I studied law. You said you're providing job, and the only job you're providing is working in a construction site. Second, we have I was talking to my father-in-law yesterday and telling him how Kenyans have brilliant mind. Remember the incident that happened in the Tanzanian Central Bank? The Kenyan Gen Z took some money from there and distributed them into some institution. You find we have people who have great mind, by the way. We have the Gen Zs who have great mind. And the first thing, and this is an advice to all leaders, the first thing to enhance employment to the youth, you cannot just construct a company then to employ youths. Allow a favorable environment for investors. You look at the finance bill, what happens. Right now, if I'm pregnant to my wife, I'll have to pay everything for the wife. And that's the one reason why the Gen Zs don't want to marry. Because remember, Linda Mama does not work. Linda Mama is this thing that supports the ladies when they're pregnant. It doesn't work in Kenya. Right now, they help. That's why you find many Gen Z, it's hard for them to get a job. Once you the government gives you the higher loan, the higher loan education fund, before you are employed, you must pay the loan. Imagine one thing the government should do: employ those people first, then deduct the money from there, rather than telling people pay first, then being employed. At first, you find that many people depend on the government fund to be educated. The Gen Zs are the most intelligent people. The Gen Zs are not disrespectful. The Gen Zs are respectful. And if you look at the instances, they are saying that Gen Zs are not respectful. First, it is during Albert's death. The Gen Zs went to the street and said, we need justice for this to happen. They never did anything wrong. The mask seller who was shot straight ahead, he was selling masks, holding masks straight on the hand. This police officer came, pushed him. While he was walking, what did he do? At a range, the way you were next to me, he shot him straight on the head. Then what happened? At last you had, they reported that he has a dead brain. Then at last he's dead. Now when the Gen Zs come to the street to demand justice for that family, They said it's disrespectful. Remember the family of Albert? The father went to State House and was given 2 million. You saw what was happening in the online. People made eulogy, said, Mom, I was born, another one said I was born in 1988, I'm going to die in 2025. And he said, Mom, when I die, make sure you go to State House, take these 2 million, the one that families are being given. Then you say these families are being disrespectful. Remember, let me take you back to the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, what the president did.
Yeah.
There was Kazi Mtaani. Kazi Mtaani is a job that was giving people work. You work for 2 days, or 2 weeks, you get 4,000.
Yeah.
Even if you are a lawyer and you come here, you wear gloves, you clean the street, you get your money. People never went to the street saying that there is no job employment. Because one thing you should understand, the government cannot employ the Gen
And
Zs.
do they want unskilled jobs? Do they want unskilled jobs?
You find sometimes we need to check even what people have studied with. I've done business management, so if you take me to do what's happening to the plumber sector, it can't work. Remember what happened in the Nairobi?
Yeah.
By the way, Nairobi, Daddy, there were some things that were happening. Many people were being employed. Somebody who works in the office of finance, say somebody who studied theology.
Yeah.
And the governor was asked, why is it that most of your people, somebody who studied library management, is in that power, is in that docket? If I have done business management, give me work that associate with finance. If you are a journalist, being given work in the government, being a photojournalist, take pictures to those people. And one thing, the Gen Zs are the most respectful. We respect the president, but what my advice to the president is, he should calm down and listen on the ground.
And is demonstration the only way? Because let's look at the aftermath of demonstration yesterday and the other days that we've had demonstration here in the country. Businesses have been shut down. Millions of shillings have been lost. So is demonstration the only way?
Two people cannot talk together unless they agree. And one thing you should know, the way the government can listen to its people is through demonstration. And the Gen Zs are ready for anything. The Gen Zs are ready for anything because you find there's a guy who was saying, I have a wife who is young, I have a child who is young, there is no job, there's nothing that you're going to do, let me go to the street to fight for my rights. What the president needs to do, I can't say that the president is the one that is ordering these people to...
Also remember that people have died along the way.
People have died. And ask yourself, last week people died, people were in the street. Why is it that the same people in the street are still in the street?
11 people died yesterday.
They died yesterday. And I'm telling you...
And there are still people fighting for their lives.
Yeah, there's still people fighting for their rights. That was yesterday. Wait and see. The next demonstration, people will be out. Ask yourself, why is it that the Gen Zs are seeing some people dying and still the Gen Zs are still on the street? Then you'll know there's something wrong somewhere.
Yeah. And I hope this round the president will listen to the young people. Yeah, and now to David, the role of church, especially when we are facing all these crises in Kenya, the young people are tired with the current government. They are saying that the president is not a listening president. So what should the church do?
Well, pray, of course. Yeah, that's always the first thing. So that's a command that we're to pray for all men. We're to pray for those in authority. That's in Timothy. That we'll be godly and quietly governed. And I think sometimes we underestimate the power of prayer. We can't, just pray and then not take any other action. We need prayer and we need action. But I think the church, it needs to be providing guidance really to the young people. It needs to be providing a voice to the nation. But I think one of the challenges with that is that the church, to a large extent, has discredited itself. So we see a big problem of corruption in government. If you look at the church, there's a big problem of corruption in the church as well. So, Jesus said that you're salt and light. And what does salt do? It preserves. it stops things going bad, right? And it flavors. So if we were out yesterday evening and we're a little bit concerned about what was happening on the roads, demonstrations, is that a good flavor? It's not a good flavor. You know, if we look at like the climate in the emotional climate in Kenya right now, that's not a good flavor. So if the church is supposed to be providing flavor and preservation to society, but society is not being preserved or flavored. Jesus said that's salt that's lost its saltiness, right? It's salt that's lost its quality. So what you find is that the more compromise the church accepts, the less quality they have and less influence they have in the world, right? So this is. I mean, I've written a very strong letter about this to the Kenyan churches, that, you know, we tend to think of, you know, as church people, we point to the problem out there, the problem with government. Oh, these, you know, politicians, you can't trust them, da 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 da. But actually, if you take these verses very seriously, you know, church leaders need to accept, okay, we are responsible for this problem. We've allowed this problem by not being the salt and the light. So first of all, the churches, the leaders, particularly the leaders in the churches, have to consecrate themselves. They've got to come back to true Christianity, stop the hypocrisy, stop the moral compromise, you know, the sleeping around that some pastors do, that they think is okay, and, you know, get back to a true, authentic, biblical Christianity and become people who are separated. And then they can have influence. But who's going to listen to someone who's a hypocrite? Right? So, did I answer the question?
Yeah, you've answered it correctly. And there's something I've learned from you, David. And I think this is what is happening right now. The leaders are not taking pastors seriously because they feel you are talking about corruption, but corruption is happening in churches. So what are you telling us? And also the fact that I feel like most leaders or most church leaders are not speaking in one voice. So what is the importance of church leaders across Kenya speaking in one voice?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be a voice that's united around what the Spirit of God is saying. There's no point uniting around a man that's saying something who may not be saying the right thing. And this is what you see in every expression of true Christianity, is you find that you're in harmony when you walk in the room. You know, just to refer back to the gentleman that I mentioned the other day, the high quality, top quality men at the high school there. I, you know, started talking and, you know, Mr. James, right, he's finishing my sentences and I'm finishing his sentences and we're in complete harmony, even though it's 18 months since we last spoke. Right? And so we're speaking with one voice, even though we didn't prepare or anything, agree on it. We didn't prepare in advance what we were going to agree on. It's simply that we're both in step with the Holy Spirit. And, you know, he might introduce a new idea to me, I might introduce a new idea to him, but we're sensitive to the Spirit and we're like, yes, that resonates, I'm with you there. So yes, it's important to unite, but we have to unite around what the Spirit of God is saying, and that's only going to happen, as I said, when we get back to authentic Christianity. Okay, let's stop this showmanship. Let's stop this hypocrisy and compromise. Let's come back to Christ. And I mean, you know, controversial. I'm going to make a controversial statement here, if that's okay. I would say to the young people that if you're in a church and your pastor is a hypocrite, go find another church.
Just like that.
Because you're perpetuating the problem. Okay, by staying with this person, the problem is going to continue. And I speak and I write very strongly. I'm very consequent and straight because we are living right at the very end of the age, and time is short, and we haven't got time to faff around and be, you know, too concerned about,
That is true.
you know, upsetting people or hurting their feelings. You know, I always try to be very respectful, but if someone's offended by the truth, I don't care. You can hate me if you like, but the truth is what's going to set you free.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, and Alvin, do you think the church is doing enough?
Pastor might say some yes, some no. You find let us not shift to the salaries that these politicians earn. Politicians earn 1 million a month. And this politician in a week goes to 2 fundraise, removes 2 million, that's 4. Times 4, that's 8. Minus the salary, so it means this person is going on a loan of -3. Because if he's removing 4 million and he earns 1 salary, so it's going on a loss of -7. So you ask yourself, in a salary of 1 million, where does this 7 million come from? And this money is being taken to churches. And you find churches needs to be accountable. If there's a Catholic pastor who was brought money with the governor of Nairobi. He said he's not going to take this money. He doesn't know where.
November.
Yeah, he said, I don't know where this money came from.
Yeah.
And remember, there's a church that the president went and gave 100 and promised 100 million offering.
Yeah. So he gave out 20 million first
And
then
promised
he promised
100. So that's 120 million.
All that thought, Alvin, when we come back after the break, we are going to speak about giving when it comes to politicians. Yeah, and of course David is here. He's going to guide us through that. Yeah, so our viewers, we are taking a short break, but don't touch that dial. We still have amazing things that we're going to talk about. Yeah, so we'll be right back shortly.
Faraja TV, Chemichemi ya Furaha.
We welcome our esteemed customers to Clippers Barber Salon and Spa. The award-winning Barber Salon and Spa. Come get an exquisite and relaxing experience for a perfect haircut, professional makeup, lock installation, facial treatment, hot stone massage from our qualified and professional staff. And now, introducing Clippers Herbal Sauna. Come get a relaxing, refreshing and rejuvenated session with a separate designated section for both women and men. Clippers Herbal Sauna has a well-spacious, well-lit and adequate relaxation area and a nicely done massage section. Clippers Herbal Sauna for better recovery of sore muscles, anti-aging benefits, detoxification, weight loss, as well as muscle relaxation. For more information, call us on 0701 00 6503 or email us at clippersbarbering@gmail.com. Clippers Barber Salon and Spa, the trend setters.
Welcome to the greatest sporting show in the 254. That is the Sports Plus show on Faraja TV,
where we'll be bringing you all the discussion and all updates according to sports and sports events.
And of course, we look forward to engaging and interacting with you on our various platforms,
which are on Faraja TV Kenya at Facebook, Faraja TV Media at YouTube, and our SMS line 0703 339959, and our various competitions and events of the sporting sphere.
Remember to catch us live each and every Saturday afternoon from 4 to 5 p.m. whereby I'll be joined by 3 great co-hosts.
Your boy Big Man Kyuga.
And of course, Mickey Omchambuli.
And Lefty Jizitisa Mgongoni.
One final lung-busting stride for Kipchoge.
So don't miss out on
Sport Buzz.
Duka letu linang'aa sana, huduma bora kwetu daima. Sambaza upendo kwa wateja, tuna kila kitu kwa bei rahisi. Mabango kibao yanang'asia, maduka yetu yana hadhi ya hali ya juu. Wateja wanacheka huku wanunua. Chama Supermarket, mimi na wewe tuko sawa. Duka letu ni bora kila siku, tuna bidhaa nyingi za hakika. Chama Supermarket huwezi kosa, huduma zetu ni za kufana. Duka letu ni bora kila siku, tuna bidhaa nyingi za uhakika. Chama Supermarket huwezi kosa, huduma zetu ni za kufana. Kwa familia tunatoa bora na bidhaa zote ni za kisasa. Ukiwa na mahitaji tutakupa, duka letu halina mfano, na kukaribisha upate usaidizi. Habari njema zetu zinasikika mbali, kila kona tunakuwepo. Duka letu ni la dhamana. Duka letu ni bora kila siku, tuna bidhaa nyingi za hakika. Chama Supermarket huwezi kosa, huduma zetu ni za kufana. Duka letu ni bora kila siku, tuna bidhaa nyingi za hakika. Chama Supermarket huwezi kosa, huduma zetu ni za kufana.
Well, what is lifestyle? To me, lifestyle is the people, it's entertainment, it's food, it's beauty, it's fashion, it's music, and it's art. So how do you get to deal with these big topics that are affecting our society? Well, worry no more, because I, Sharon Gige, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m, I'll be bringing you amazing guests, and they'll be able to give us solutions on how to handle these big and disturbing topics at Faraja TV Kenya and on social media platforms. Thank you.
Experto Paints is a company, a Canadian company that majorly deals only with the protection of the houses, producing quality paints for the buildings. We have different kind of textures for finishing products. Okay, for kind of buildings, we have exterior and interior paints, which can be used in different ambience and colors. We have weather guard paints, we have cover mats, vinyl mat, vinyl silk, and textured coated paints. Experto paints come in different ambiances and multiple colors, and it's a good quality. It also protects your wall from fogging and also from molds and the bad smell that come from water perforations from the ground. Now you come and find your wall, the paint chapping, but for Experto paints, it's hard for it to chap off. Welcome to Nakuru Free Area Depot, next to JJ Plaza, where we sell you quality paints as Experto paint in color, and you are most welcome.
Yo, welcome guys to the biggest and most exciting show in the 254, where we bring you exciting topics, great music, your favorite artists, and good times.
Join us each and every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Faraja Mashup. It's your boy Big Man Kuga.
And your boy Big Willie, aka the Big Kahuna.
Welcome to Flamingo Auction Center, your trusted destination for safe storage and certified auctions. Here, we prioritize your peace of mind. Our auction center is fully insured, ensuring that your valuable items are in safe hands. With years of experience and industry certifications, we provide a transparent and trustworthy auction experience. Explore our showroom featuring a diverse selection of art, antiques, collectibles, and more, all ready for you to bid on. Join us for exciting live auctions where you can find the unique treasures and unbeatable deals. At Flamingo Auction Center, we are not just an auction house, we are a community. Come experience safe, certified and exhilarating auctions with us. Visit us today or check our website to learn more. Flamingo Auction Center, where your treasures find new homes.
Kwa majina ni John Mragori, ninaokuletea program ya uzima wa kiroho na nidhamu, na programu yetu ya kujia mnamo siku ya kila Jumapili saa 1:30 katika runinga yetu ya Faraja TV, Chemichemi ya Furaha. Karibu sana, karibu pamoja, tushirikiane katika uzima wa kiroho na nidhamu. Karibuni na mbarikiwe sana. God bless you. God see you.
Welcome back, our dear viewers. Morning update, and my name is Vicky Kipto. Today we are talking about church and politics, and we have amazing guests here in studio to take us through that, and that is David Krag, who's a church minister, and Alvin Njoroge, who's Nakuru future leader. So continue interacting with us, tell us what you think about the topic today. And Lydia Krag is saying a very wise insight that can also be applied to our everyday life, not just in politics. These are principles for how we are to treat everyone. Wow, that's amazing. Wendy D, walking in the light in the mandate of the church is our God, is a God of light and is of every area of light. Christian Setzer says that we need leaders who are wholly submitted to the Lord and use their gifts to benefit those who they are leading. We need competence and integrity. Wow. Thank you, David and Alvin, for speaking the truth. Yeah, so you can continue interacting with us through our social media handles, and that is Facebook, Faraja TV Kenya, YouTube, Faraja TV Media, TikTok, Faraja TV, Instagram, Faraja_TV_Kenya, and our SMS number is on your screen, and that is 0703339959. And remember to include your name and where you're watching us from. And we still have some feedbacks in Facebook. Sam Kush are saying that he's tuned in. Josh Oteno is saying, good morning, Vicky. Good morning. Pass my greetings to my friend Alvin with his daddy over there. Yeah, so Ignite Njoroge, the church plays a big role in leadership. That is true. But the big question, how do we make the church not a captive of the politician as it was in 2022? Yeah, so continue sending your feedbacks. We value your feedback here at Faraja TV. And before we went for the break, we were talking about giving, especially when it comes to politicians, because they've been giving hefty donations in churches. And last year, a Catholic bishop returned 5.8 million Kenya shillings that was donated by President William Ruto. So you can also tell us, do you think that was right? Yes, and to David, I think he's the best person to respond to this because he is a church minister. Do you think politicians should give hefty donations in churches?
I think everybody should have the freedom to give.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that is scriptural and it's right.
Mm-hmm.
You're robbing someone of a blessing if they can't give.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in a position, if you're a politician, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and you're talking about large donations,
Mm-hmm.
then it should be given anonymously.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because then that removes all of the influence and the strings attached.
Mm-hmm.
In the UK, we have very, very strict laws against the giving and receiving of bribes,
Mm-hmm.
especially with government officials. It's a very, very delicate topic.
Mm-hmm.
But even in the IT industry, you know, I for my customer, right, I couldn't take them out to see a football match, for example,
Mm-hmm.
because that would be seen as a potential bribe.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you could give a nominal gift, like you could give them a chocolate bar or an
Yeah.
Easter egg or something, you know, but something of really, really low value, like less than $10 is okay. But anything more than that, they say no, because it's too risky.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about putting those guardrails in, those you know, boundaries that give you that safety,
Mm-hmm.
that remove that temptation.
Mm-hmm.
To misuse your influence.
Yeah.
So making a gift anonymous, it's great because, okay, somebody came in, we have no idea who it came from.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Easy solution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Alvin, what do you think about that?
I think people should give,
Mm-hmm.
but the reason why the Gen Zs are upset is because
Mm-hmm.
the way the pastors, the way the politicians are giving.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know you cannot give
And because they were questioning the source of the money.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot spend more than you want.
Mm-hmm.
You spend with the limit that you want.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way somebody, imagine if you calculate the president's salary in a year, it's
But
12.
he has other businesses.
Yeah, he has other business, but
Mhm.
if you are in a public office,
Mhm.
people don't consider other business.
Yeah.
They consider the money you earn,
You earn.
from the people's taxes.
Mhm.
And in a year, it's 12 million.
Mhm.
And you find the president donating 120 million.
Mhm.
That can't work. Remember the Langata member of parliament, Honorable Jalango, said to run for presidency,
Mhm.
you need to have more than 7 billion.
Mhm.
Straight on the TV, it's on the TV, you're not saying what we don't know.
Mhm.
He said straight on the TV, I can ask, how much does it cost to vie for a senatorial seat? They said you must have more than 10 million
Mhm.
to vie for that seat.
And that will limit the young people.
And that will limit the young people, by the
Exactly.
way, because you find the way the politicians have defined politics in Kenya.
Mhm.
Without money, you can't be a politician.
Mhm.
You must give people money to be a politician.
Mhm.
And the reason why the Gen Zs right now, once they hear this politician is going to a certain church, they say occupy that church.
Mhm.
Because right now the Gen Zs have come back to their normal senses.
Mhm.
They know these pastors are the people who say, let us do this.
Mhm.
Let us do this.
Mhm.
God has said. And you know, in Kenya it's a Christian country.
Yeah.
Once you tell people God has said,
Mhm.
it is you, and people don't know you, they will vote for you.
Mhm.
Because you find, there's a book my father-in-law brought it to me called Developing a Leader in You. And the second principle for a leader is you must have influence.
Mhm.
And remember, the church leaders have influence.
Mhm.
So it means already those church leaders, they are already leaders.
Mhm.
Because being a leader and you don't have people following you, it means you're just making a walk.
Yeah.
So as a leader, you need people behind you.
Mhm.
You need people that you direct and use your influence in a good way. Because you find many Gen Zs don't want to be politicians inside the churches. Because you find rather than speaking godly things, they start saying, do you know this one did this? Am I somebody to be threatened? Me, nobody can threaten me. The only person. Then you find people inside there, and they go there because they know Kenya, people go to churches. We have so many people inside the church. You find a church can contain 1,000 people. So you find they know that's the best point to go speak politics, and that's the best point to go. Because even if it's me, right now, a politician comes and give my pastor like 100 million. Those believers there, they will vote for that person. They'll be like, hey, this is the leader.
So do you think by doing that they influence voters?
They influence voters, which is this is the reason why the Gen Zs don't want pastors, politicians doing campaigns inside the church. By the way, did you watch the campaigns of Donald Trump and Kamala Harris? The way they don't go inside the church, they go hire a place, they do politics outside. I prefer, that's the thing that should be amended with the registrar of political parties. Should say that no politician should go inside the church. If it is, did you saw what the president of Tanzania was done? He's a Muslim, went into a Muslim, she came late. Coming late, she was in Muslim. If you are late inside the mosque, you stay where you are. She stayed at the back, at the door, worshipping Allah at the door, and she's the president. But in Kenya, you find somebody comes late, sits there, and that's the thing that we need to change. I want to be a politician. I've gone to many churches, and I've never spoke politics. Remember the only time I spoke politics is we have a friend of mine who is a VI, visually impaired, called Joseph, was doing some donation inside his church, and they were doing a construction, and he told me to pick him there to be his guide. And reaching there, he told me, can you speak on my behalf? That's the only point I said. I'm Alvin, brought my brother Joseph, he was vying for this seat. Next time, don't forget him, vote for him. Then I sat down, because you find one thing that needs to happen, and I want to encourage the church leaders, together with my dad, because we have talked with him, is right now we need to start church, the school ministry. Because you find the generation that is coming needs to find a good environment to do things. School ministry is the perfect thing that needs to happen. Because it was telling me a country whereby it was full of corruption, and that country could leave your phone, it's stolen, but right now they can leave a phone here, nobody can take it. And you find the reason is bringing this other generation in a godly way, in a godly character. That's what needs to happen. Let us raise people in a standard, in a way that, you ask that, how do you know if somebody is a fake prophet or what? You can know, once you are led by God. The only thing, pastors, let me tell you, my friends are pastors, and me, I always speak my heart. Hate me, like me, take me nowhere. I have my wife, I'll go to my wife. So, many pastors, now let me go make things straight now. Many pastors are not led by the Holy Spirit. Many pastors started, there's a song that says, tulianza na roho, tunaliza na mwili. We started with the heart, now we are ending with the body. Right now, that's what's happening to many pastors. There's something that Apostle Nganga said. There's a pastor who went to a man, said, God has shown me that you will be blessed, that you will have lots of things. Then that pastor asked that man, and what's your name? So this pastor was saying, if God showed you, it is you. God must tell you the name first. Exactly. This name, this person. So you find many pastors are not led by God. Many pastors right now thinks about their pocket, by the way. You find somebody comes in, I was talking to my dad and telling him, somebody starts a church without anything. I know God blesses his people. But you find out the doctrine that is there, people are not speaking about Jesus Christ, about the coming of God, about how we should bring our hearts, how we should go in line with God. And right now people know if I speak the truth, I won't get any believers. That's why now pastors are like, these ladies, nannies. They are like nannies. They take their believers and say, oh baby, I don't want you to sleep. I want you to do this. That's how pastors they are doing in Kenya. They know if they speak facts, none of them will be there. And let me tell you one thing, it's better you take one person to Christ rather than having a multitude and take all those people to hell.
That's true. Yeah.
And ask yourself why the Bible says, the teachers of the law will be highly judged. There's a word?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so that's in James. So teachers will be judged to our higher standard. But just to build on that thought, right, we call it pulling the God card. And pulling the God card is when you are a minister and you tell someone, well, God said so. And that's not appropriate. I've had people do that to me when I was younger, and that's not appropriate. And we can learn something from the American church here in terms of politicians and who to vote for. So there are some great ministries that have created voter guides, and they say, right, well, you know, this is what this guy stands for, and this is what his track record is. This is what the opposition stands for, and that's their track record. And then they let people make their own minds up. So what they're doing is they're providing the information, and they might go a step further and say, well, you know, this is a biblical worldview right here. We can see this isn't a biblical worldview, but they won't say God said vote for this guy. They're going to give you the information that you need so that you can realize, okay, yes, this one's the godly candidate, this one's less godly.
Yes, and what I'm getting from Alvin is moral decay. Maybe we were not taught from when we were young, you know, this is what you're supposed to do in church, this is what you will not be doing in church. And that is where we've been witnessing politicians speaking about politics in churches. And he brought something very, very important about having false preachers. And I think currently we have so many churches that have been commercialized. We have churches that businesses, enterprises that are masquerading as churches. So how do you know that that is a false pastor and that is a true pastor?
Just love these difficult questions. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's you'll know them by their fruit, Jesus said, right? So I'm someone who's very fussy about fruit, right? Some of the fruit that we get is imported from Africa or you know, sunny countries, you know. So it's travelled a certain distance, so it's picked quite early. So avocados, is that a fruit or vegetable? I don't know, but avocados, I think it's a fruit, right? So it's really 50-50 where in Europe, when you buy an avocado, if it's a good one or a bad one, you know, and I really enjoy the avocados here. But I'm so fussy about my fruit, it has to be sweet and it has to taste like fruit. If it's tasteless and it's not sweet, I'm like, well, that's horrible. I don't want it, okay? So you're going to know them by their fruit. I mean, someone only has to take the microphone and speak for 30 seconds. And in your spirit, you know, if you're sensitive to the Holy Spirit, it's like either, oh, that's good, and that's bringing life already, or yuck, shut up, take the microphone off him. So,
You will know them by their fruit.
You'll know them by their fruits,
To support him. You remember there was some instances where you find a politician, if let's say me use myself as an example, I'm a politician, my dad has a church, and I know if I take all this money, say it's an offering to him, no, it will not be traced. But you find I've given him 100 million as an offering, but behind doors I know I'll receive that money back and tell him, can you take 20, give me 80. That's what happens to so many churches, and you find that's a bad thing, because we need to let people into Christ, and that's what's not happening.
I mean, to make that more, I mean, it sounds a little like too much based on feelings, you'll know them by their fruit. So to make that a little bit more concrete is, the scripture also says that wisdom is proved right by her children. Right? So you make some decisions, like for example, my family, right? The people are always admiring my kids. They're nearly all grown up now, apart from the youngest. But they say, yeah, what did you do with your kids? How did you raise them? Because you did something right here. Well, that's wisdom being proved right by her children. So you can know me by my fruit. In that context, as a father, you don't need to spend hours with me. Just go and meet my kids, and then you'll know what kind of father I was. That's my fruit.
Yes, and also I think we should ask God for the spirit of discernment.
Absolutely.
So that we can really tell if they are true or false prophets. Because currently I think we have many fake prophets. And also we have re-emergence of controversial teachings. Years ago, we had 400 followers who died. They were following this certain preacher who told them that you should not eat, you should fast, you should not even drink water, you should need to go to school so that you can see God. And after that, 400 people died. Yes, and after the incident, President William Ruto put up a force to look at the issue, and there are reforms that they came up with, and their task was actually to review the framework governing religious organization. And some of the reforms that they came up with include establishment of a religious affairs commission that will be responsible for assessing all religious groups and clerics, and also registration of all churches. Yeah, and this did not sit well with some of some of religious leaders, because they were like they felt like the president was, or the state was controlling the churches. So what can you say about that?
Well, I can say that, if you have a path of life here, and you've fallen into a ditch, 400 people have died, the answer is not to get out of that ditch and throw yourself into the opposite ditch. So there's a huge risk there with the state wanting to regulate the church. Yeah, so I mean, a short review of history will
Faraja TV, Chemichemi ya Furaha.
We welcome our esteemed customers to Clippers Barber Salon and Spa. The award-winning Barber Salon and Spa. Come get an exquisite and relaxing experience for a perfect haircut, professional makeup, lock installation, facial treatment, hot stone massage from our qualified and professional staff. And now, introducing Clippers Herbal Sauna. Come get a relaxing, refreshing and rejuvenated session with a separate designated section for both women and men. Clippers Herbal Sauna has a well-spacious, well-lit and adequate relaxation area and a nicely done massage section. Clippers Herbal Sauna for a better recovery of sore muscles, anti-aging benefits, detoxification, weight loss, as well as muscle relaxation. For more information, call us on 0701 00 6503 or email us at clippersbarbering@gmail.com. Clippers Barber Salon and Spa, the trend setters.
Welcome to the greatest sporting show in the 254. That is the Sports Blast show on Faraja TV,
where we'll be bringing you all the discussion and all updates according to sports and sports events.
And of course, we look forward to engaging and interacting with you on our various platforms,
which are on Faraja TV Kenya at Facebook, Faraja TV Media at YouTube, and our SMS line 0703 339959. And our various competitions and events of the sporting sphere.
Remember to catch us live each and every Saturday afternoon from 4 to 5 p.m. whereby I'll be joined by 3 great co-hosts.
Your boy Big Man Kyuga.
And of course, Mickey Omchambuli.
And Lefty Jizitisa Mgongoni.
One final lung-busting stride for Kipchoge.
So don't miss out on Sport Buzz.
sorry for that technical hitch. You can continue interacting with us through our social media handles and our SMS number that is on the screen. And remember to include your name and where you're watching us from. And before we went for that short break, we were talking about religious extremism. The incident that happened 2 years ago in Shakahola, where 400 people died, and the task force that was put in place after that by President William Ruto, there were some reforms, for example, establishment of a religious affairs commission that will be responsible for accessing all religious groups and also registration of all churches. And I say that many this was not taken well by most of religious leaders, and David was taking us through that. What do you think?
Yeah, so I think the dangers of that, taking that route, far outweigh the protections that it's going to bring. Just look at history. When government starts trying to control religion, it's not good. And again, it just gives more room, more scope for more corruption. So there are other things that could be done. So you have the ombudsman approach. So you could appoint an independent body that the government doesn't have any control over, and give them a very narrow, locked down scope. Your job is to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Okay, but give them very strict boundaries over which they can't go. So it's just literally a safeguard against some kind of incident like that.
To add on what that Dave said, you find me, I like we want to tell the believers, let us be led by God. There's no way somebody can tell you fast till you see God. You should ask yourself, did that person, has he already fasted and see God? If he has not, then don't do things like that. Because you find there's no way you die early because of following a false prophet. Remember, even in the Bible, during the event that happened at Mount in Kenya, we say Carmel. You say the same?
Mount Carmel,
yeah. About the real prophet of God and the Baal prophet. As believers, we need to have faith. And I was telling people, there's a difference between having faith and doubting your faith. The reason why even many people's prayers are not answered, you find somebody prays to God like, God, I believe you for this. And my wife taught you, tell God, you thank God for it. You say, God, I thank you for this. Then you find somebody after there start saying, God, will it really happen? As long as you have doubt that you have doubt your faith, it will not happen. And you start blaming God. So it's the same way. Let us believe in God. These other people, they are human beings. They are not immortal. They will die like you. You believe in the Most High, who is the conqueror of death, the conqueror of anything.
And also, I think we should read the Bible for ourselves so that we cannot be lied to.
I mean, this is why Martin Luther translated the Bible, because the Catholic Church was lying to the people, and it introduced all of these kind of practices that were designed to fleece the people, to get all the money out of them. He wanted to translate it so they could read it for themselves, and then they could judge. And it's like the Bereans, right? The scripture says that, the apostles came to them, preached the gospel to them, and then they searched the scriptures to see, is what they're saying correct? And they discovered, oh yeah, it's all in here. And then they believed and they came to faith. So absolutely.
Yeah, also, according to our constitution, Article 2, Chapter 2 of Article 8 states that there is no state religion, meaning government acts are not influenced by any particular religion. And it also establishes a separation of church and state. Yeah, so there should be equality for all faith. And currently, our president is building a church in a state house, something that has brought public uproar. Many people are not happy about that. And he has even responded saying that he'll continue building the church. So what is your take about that?
I mean, I think there's a lot that's being interpreted into those 5 or 6 words, even like, well, it means that there's a separation between church and state. Well, does it? Says who? is there a legal precedent for that? It's 5 or 6 words. It's so broad you could drive 10 buses through it sideways, right? So I think it's important that people are having this dialogue to actually tease out, okay, what was the original intent of that statement, and was it there to avoid religious extremism, to avoid the situation that Iran has, or is it so that you don't have any minority groups or minority religions that feel like they're being disadvantaged? What's the real purpose behind that? And I think this dialogue is important. Regarding the building itself, I think that some of the concerns around this are being overstated. I think there's a lot of anti-Christian sentiment behind those concerns. I don't think having the church building there that's being privately funded is promoting a religion. I don't think it's disadvantaging anyone. I think it's being very much overstated. But I think there are things that could be done to satisfy the concerns of the people who are concerned, which could be to say, well, okay, well, let's reserve a little bit of state property as well for a mosque. If the Muslims want to, fund a mosque and build one there, okay, why not?
Yeah. So what do you think about that, Ali?
To me, I was born in 2001. I started knowing that Kenya is a Christian country. I'm not fighting against any religion, by the way. Then, but my advice to them,
because we have, yes, majority of Kenyans are Christians, but we also have people who practice other religions.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying the president needs to, sometimes let us not blame the president. The president is one person who runs 47 counties, who runs 296 constituencies. I don't know who runs what. The people who lead the president in a bad way are these advisors. And the problem where the president went wrong is, you let your advisors be ahead of you. Like me, right now I'm doing diploma. The people who I need to be my advisors, the people who have done degree and above, and people who are well focused. Rather, you hear they are saying the advisors of the president, some of them are class 6 dropout. It's just that they are friends then given part in that thing. Then you need to understand, even if the president being a statesman, the president has in his life. And if he's a Christian, he's a Christian. You cannot change him to go to be a Muslim. Even if it's me and I'm a Christian, and once you're the president, you are restricted to movement. Sometimes you can find, if you want to go to worship in a place, you go with 7 cars, security, maybe you want your own privacy. And maybe we cannot blame him to put a church there. Maybe to him is so, let me just construct this church where I will be worshiping in this place. I want to be the president of the Republic of Kenya, by the way. And not by the way. I know I want to be the president before the world end. I will be the president. I always tell my wife that once you are the president, everything to you is run by the government. But at last we need our personal life. Isn't it? Yeah, you are the president and you need your personal life. You need remember, even if they are saying that a government should not support any religion. Remember, according to the constitution, the laws of Kenya stipulate that everybody has a freedom to worship. And even if the president is a state man, the constitution still governs him, and he has the freedom to worship.
So you think whatever he's doing will not violate freedom of worship?
It will not violate freedom of worship.
Because at the end of the day, he's a human being. We always think once somebody becomes president of a certain republic, he automatically becomes a god.
And you need to understand, the president, in 2022, the president was a very holy man. So maybe that church will help him to come back to track to be the same
How
holy man.
do you know that he's not holy right now? And no one is perfect.
My dad has said here,
right?
look at the
David,
fruits.
no one is perfect.
Wait first. My dad has said here, look at the fruits. He is the president. People are being shot. People are being done all these things. He should stand and say, remember what he did in the finance bill? He said, I'm not going to sign the finance bill. Rather than 2022, handkerchief was always, I think you used to work with 5 handkerchief. This one, tears removed, ask for another one.
But remember, Alvin, On a tree, there are good fruits and bad fruits.
And my advice to the president is the good fruit that he was in 2022, that church that is constructing, may God intervene and may the president heart change from there. I'm appreciating him to build that church so that he can change.
Wow, that's amazing.
And if that church doesn't help him, when I become the president, I'll demolish that church.
And build another one.
No, I'll not build another one. If it doesn't help him, by the way, if you look at the things that is happening right now, may that church help him. May he worship in that church, praise in that church, and may he get revelation of God from God that
it's a good point.
You are doing a bad thing. If he is not going to do that, by the way,
and you should listen to
I'm
the
about
crowd.
to reach to 38 years.
Yeah.
Soon I'm 23.
Mm-hmm.
How many to reach 38, 17, 15?
You're almost there.
15 years. Count 15 years from now, you will see my party. And I have the party in mind. It has the name of my child, who when I have, I'll call him with something called Unity. It's there.
Yeah.
And that's the party that I'll go in with the
We
president.
are praying for you.
Yeah.
Parting shots, David. Anything else you want to add? Maybe I left out.
Not really, but just something that my my favorite mentors do is they, you know, you can ask them any kind of thing, but they just stay on the same point. And the reason why they hammer the same point is because they've discerned, okay, what's the root of the issue here? I mean, you can lop off a branch here, you can lop off a branch there, but sometimes we're just pruning the problem. If you prune something, if you cut it at the wrong level, you're pruning it, you're encouraging it to grow. You've got to identify where's the root of this issue and make a cut at the root. So I would come back to, my parting shot is, the church has to get their act together. They've got to come back to Christ. They've got to be consecrated.
Wow, that's amazing. They should come back to Christ. And
my parting shot?
Yeah.
Mine is to advise the Kenyan churches. Go to YouTube and search, don't write 24, search 24, I don't know if it is called -7 Connect. My dad always holds some good podcasts there and teaches about the way people should go. I think that's where they'll get more advice from there. And they should be expecting me to send that letter to all the platforms I am with the pastors. By the way, I'm in many groups with the pastors. And my dad told me, send that letter there. If they will be your friend, no, they are true friends. And I'm going to send it. I have my wife. You will be upset. I'll go to my house, relax, and do everything.
Go to your wife.
And I'll go to my wife. But another thing is let us be led by God.
Wow.
Let God direct us. The only key thing is to be led by God. And all believers and all the citizens and all the Gen Zs, let us be led by God. I like what the Gen Zs are doing. They're saying Gen Z for Jesus.
For Jesus, yeah.
That's one key thing. Gen Z for Jesus. And I appreciate that.
Wow, I love that. And I believe our viewers have picked something from this conversation. Thank you very much for coming. When you find time again, come to Morning Updates. I've really appreciated it.
Next year,
Thank you very
arrange
much.
for him.
Yeah. Yes, and if you want to continue interacting with us through our social media handles and our SMS number that is on your screen. Thank you very much for watching. Let's do this again tomorrow from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. I've been your host, Vicky Kipto. Have a lovely day.
Faraja TV, Chemichemi ya Furaha.
We welcome our esteemed customers to Clippers Barber Salon and Spa. The award-winning Barber Salon and Spa. Come get an exquisite and relaxing experience for a perfect haircut, professional makeup, lock installation, facial treatment, hot stone massage from our qualified and professional staff.